Good afternoon, students. Are you hearing my voice? Good afternoon. Are you hearing my voice? Please say yes or no. Are you hearing my voice clearly? Are you getting my voice?
Sir.
Are you hearing my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you. Right. So, yesterday we discussed certain things regarding the causes of Dalit movements. Before going to the detailed causes, yesterday we discussed about who are the great personalities who mobilized mainly the Dalit towards their rights. Okay, so yesterday we discussed the contribution of various personalities like Ramsar Naikar, Jyotiba Phule, Periyar, Narayan Guru, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, these are the great pioneers who mobilized Indian Dalits towards their rights. Okay, today we are going to see what are the various causes which lead to the Dalit movements in India particularly. Okay, so before going to the general causes, just I will give you some introduction. Okay, so history testifies the presence of social cleavage in Indian society in terms of caste, class, gender, and likewise. Such cleavage has changed the entire social fabric of Indian society. Okay, so the cleavage has changed the whole system of Indian society. This exploitation is due to discrimination followed by the age-old caste hierarchical tradition in Hindu society. This hierarchy has been the cause for oppression of Dalits in each and every sphere of society since centuries. It has subjected them to life of poverty and humiliation. The Dalits, nothing but the untouchables, who have been brutally exploited by the so-called upper caste, lag outside the Varnashrama Dharma or a theory, and were referred to as outcasts in pre-independent India. India attained independence, but the Dalits were not allowed to live in a life with dignity and equality. Okay, you are already aware. Still, some villages are the in the same condition. Okay, so it is in this idea of the age-old idea of the equality which sparked the beginning of the Dalit movement in India as a protest to the age-old atrocities committed against them. Dalit movement is a struggle that tries to counter-attack the socio-cultural hegemony of the upper caste. It is a movement of the masses that craves for justice through the speeches, literary works, dramas, songs, cultural organizations, and all the other possible measures. So it can be called as a movement which has been led by Dalits to seek equality with all other castes of Hindu society. The main objective of the Dalit movement was to establish a society in India based on social equality. Social equality in the sense, the egalitarian society. The constitutional identity, however, fails to capture the true picture. The real picture is something difficult, which will be reflected in this lecture. In the light of the four books, including De-Brahmanizing History, Poisoned Bread, The Prisons We Broke, and Dalit Visions. Okay, so the Dalit movement is a result of constant hatred being generated from centuries in their hurt from the barbaric activities of the upper castes of India. Since Dalits were assigned the duties of serving the other three upper varnas, that is, all the Dan Dalit, they were deprived of higher training of mind and were denied social, economic, and political status. The division of labor led to division of the laborer based on equality and exploitation. The caste system degenerated Dalit lives into pathogenic condition, in a pathetic condition, where occupations changed into castes. The higher castes of the society looked down upon the Sudras. It was generally believed that Dalits are part of the lowest low Varnas. Okay, so the upper caste are ideology that the Dalits were the a part and parcel of the lower Varna. Okay, lower Varna in the sense they are part and parcel of the Shudra. Thus, for centuries, Dalits have been positioned at the bottom of the rigid Indian caste system society. People from other castes who consider they to be higher believe that Dalits are impure by birth and that their touch or sheer presence could be polluting. Hence, they are assumed to be a untouchable. For centuries, Dalits were excluded from the mainstream of the society and were only allowed to pursue manual occupations like cleaning, dry latrines, sweeping, tanning, and working as a landless labor for meager daily wages. They were the people who cultivated the land, worked as bonded labor, did the work of scavenging, and did all types of manual works. The most inhuman practice is that of untouchability, which made the Dalits to live in extreme inhuman situations. In order, in other words, they lived a barbaric life, starving of food in their own land, where they themselves are the owners of the land, engrade the Dalits. This has made the Dalits to rise and protest against the inhuman practice of the Brahmanism. Okay, so Dalits were discriminated in various sense. They lived in Hindu villages, hence did not advantage of geographical isolation like the tribes. Okay, they are also living along with the other communities, but they are far away from those habitants. Okay, so they are far away from the houses of the upper classes or the castes or communities. They were pushed to the jungles, whereas the mainland was occupied by the Brahmins. They were to serve all classes of the people around and had do not do all the dirty jobs. They were barred from entering into those mainland or the main society, where society are main areas in every sense. They were prohibited to wear decent dress and ornaments besides being untouchable. Many of the atrocities were committed in the name of religion. Besides the system of Devadasi, they poured molten lead into the ears of Dalit who happened to listen to some mantra. To retain the stronghold on people, education was monopolized only by the Brahmins. Okay, so Brahmins and the Dvija. Okay, the twice born in the sense the upper three varnas. Okay, so from the Vedic case, Dalit began struggle against the oppression and exploitation. The most striking aspect of Manu's formula is the sphere of punishment for breaking law, where the quantum of punishment for the offender increases as one goes down the state caste hierarchy. From the classic instances of Sambhu, who was killed for acquiring the spiritual knowledge, and the Ekalavya, who was forced to cut off his thumb for his prowess to archery, the Dalits were always punished. Their only fault was that they were the Dalits and that they did not have any right to attain knowledge. Dronacharya could not take off the art of archery from Ekalavya, finally punished him by taking away his finger. Okay, so the Dalits were always being punished for the deeds that they did not commit, just because it was coming in the way of the Brahmins. Whenever they constitute a threat to the Barbaric hegemony, the Brahmins could not leave a chance to punish them. The Dalits were never placed in their rightful position, which they observe. Today, they constitute the marginalized section of the society. The reason behind this that they were denied access to resources like the material, the intellectuals as well as were exploited. It was thus the Dalits decided to stop the following such unequal practices in society, where one group benefits stealing from the other, and began their movement due to the fact that they were denied equal status. Okay, so because why the Dalits start fighting for their rights means because the upper varnas who denied the equal status to the Dalits. Okay, so Dalits means Dalits have many communities in India at present. Nearly 400 and above communities are present. Okay, and you take the Telangana or AP, nearly 60 communities are there in the present scheduled caste structure. Okay, so likewise, 400 above castes are there in all India, but all those are having the lower strata and lower status. They are prohibited from or restricted to certain activities. Okay, from the upper varnas. Okay, so when you see the general causes, okay, so the general causes for the Dalit movements. The first and foremost one is the Brahmanism as the root cause of Dalit movement. Okay, so the Brahmanism, the Brahmin, which is a superior varna, a superior class or superior community in the Indian society, who are making certain laws only supporting to the upper varnas, and the laws which shows certain inequality to the Dalit or untouchables. Okay, so Brahmanism is the main cause because all laws are made by the Brahmins. Okay, so here when you see how the Brahmanism is the root cause. Okay, so when from the Vedic age onwards, you are well aware that Brahmanism is a supreme, and Brahmanism is a superior structure which are deciding the things which are followed by the various sections in the society. Okay, so through the various things like introducing the Sanskrit only confined to a particular sections, and the Vedas, the Vedic literature confined to a particular section, and also avoiding these Shudra and Atishudras from following various traditions and rituals which followed in the Hindu religion or Hindu structure. Okay, so that's why all the important all the people are sections who opposing the Brahmin ideology, or opposing the Brahmin ideology or Brahmin supremacy. They started criticizing the ideology of Brahmins. Okay, so after the Vedic and later Vedic, during the Mahajanapadas period, many important intellectuals or important personalities who oppose this Brahmin ideology. Nothing but the Gautam Buddha and Jaina Mahavira, who publicly criticized and started their own way of thinking and ideology, and later which turned into the great revolutionary religions. Okay, Buddhism and Jainism. Okay, so here the Brahmanism is the root cause here. Okay, so the Dalit and women in India are the at present categorized under the unmarginalized sections of the society. All these castes, like the untouchable castes or various castes of Dalit at present we call, or Harijan, or any synonym we are calling. But these are lower classes, uh, share a common condition of exploitation and oppression by so-called upper castes of the Indian society. Okay, if we trace back to the historical periods, it will be found that the root cause is the formation of a caste system, which actually led to the oppression of other categories of oppressed classes of India, that is the women. It was the Aryans who entered country from the Central Asia and settled in the fertile land of Ganges and areas of Indus Valley. After fight with the indigenous people, the people of the civilization. Okay, so we already discussed in our last class that Aryan innovation is the main theory which supported by many intellectuals and historians, that Aryans, a race, a superior race. Okay, they are thinking that their race is the superior race in the world, and they want to they want to they want to mobilize the other sections of the society, other sections in the world society, so that they the Aryans who invaded the inhabitants of Indian territories at that time, and they started a new form of civilization called as the Aryan civilization. Okay, so this is the Aryans civilization is a starting point for the development of Brahmanical ideology in India, right? So another important thing is the military service. Okay, so military service, yet colonial period. Okay, so the Dalit, including Mahar is an important Dalit community in Maharashtra. Okay, so the Dalits, including Mahars, served under the military under the Muslim and Maratha kings. However, their military career rose to prominence under the British rule. In 1768, the East India Company had two battalions mainly consisting Mahars. The company had special inclination for Mahas soldiers because Mahas had a military background. Uh, and were faithful and brave. They were recruited in the Marine Battalion as they had no inhibition in serving on the sea or crossing the waves to get the foreign lands. Okay, so the Mahars gave a decisive fight to the Peshwa on the parched battlefield of Koregam in 1818 and achieved the victory. They later participated in the Katayawar War in 1826 and fought in the First War of Indian Independence 1857. The Churha, the untouchable of Punjab, fought for Maharaja Ranjit Singh and later on the Gulab Singh of Kashmir. Military service proved to be a boon to them as they were barred from all the walks of life by the caste Hindus. Military service improved their economic conditions. They learned the manners, values, and the discipline of the British military personnel. The East India Company provided the education for the Indian soldiers. They came to know the outside world through the military expedition of British. They had a chance to share their thoughts, ideas with the people of other countries. As a result, their outlook broadened. They began to think about improving their lives through mass movements. Okay, so military service given a certain encourage or a courage, yes, movement, courageous thing to the Dalits, that they can criticize or they can fight against anything which creates certain hurdle to the Dalits. Okay, so the military service, which by military service, Dalits learned many things like the courageous or fight, and also they give a tough fight, or which given a great thing, nothing but the discipline. Okay, so the if anything which created certain adult to the discipline, they can act courageously. Okay, so that's why by fighting or by participating in the military service, the Dalit had certain courage to fight against this social order also. Okay, so the Dalit education. Yeah, the education also given certain encouragement to the Dalits to fight this social order. Okay, so Dalit education, Dalits did not access to education. Okay, did not access to education since many years. Okay, many decades and centuries. Okay, so therefore they started to spread education among themselves to improve their own situation. In this respect, the contribution made by the following persons as credible. Okay, so the first and foremost important personalities were the Jaina Mahavira, who started Jainism, and the Gautam Buddha, who started Buddhism. These two important religions, which created certain awareness among these Dalits and Sudras at that time, to fight the Hindu structure. Okay, fight against the Hindu structure, and to criticize the certain unwanted rituals or superstitions in the Hindu society at that time. Okay, so after long centuries, at the time of colonial period, many one or two important personalities who carried these ideologies given by Gautam Buddha and Jaina Mahavira, and those personalities who given certain created certain awareness to the among the Dalits to fight against the unwanted rituals which are in the Hindu society at that time. Okay, so among them, Jyotiba Phule was an important personality who was a great pioneer, who was a great inspiration to the later intellectual class which developed in the Dalit section. Okay, so he was victimized by the upper caste Hindus, being a Mali is caste, and he strongly condemned and strongly fight against the Hindu ideology during the colonial period. Okay, during 1848 52, he established 18 schools in and around Pune. In his endeavor to spread education, his wife helped him immensely. Though previously uneducated, she was inspired by Mahatma Phule, her husband, and joined school only to teach the schools established by husband. Uh, Only schools established only for the illiterates of the backward classes. Okay. Jyotiba Phule later on founded Satyaswada Samaj in 1873 at Pune for the social and religious upliftment of untouchables and other backward communities. His objectives of the social reformation, eradication of untouchability, and restoration of the rule of toilers had a far-reaching influence on the social and political life of the people of Maharashtra. Okay, so after Jyotiba Phule, there are other certain important things which influenced the Dalits to fight against their rights. Okay, fight for their rights. Okay, one of them was the conversion. Okay, so Dalits converted into um, Islam or Christianity or Sikhism to get new social status in the society. Okay, so because of various hurdles faced by the Dalits in the Hindu system, they converted into other uh, uh, other religions. Okay, so in the same way, they converted into Islam or Christianity or Sikhism later. So besides a new social status, conversion also assured political benefit, material benefits. To escape from the untouchability, many Bangis, which belongs to Lal Begi and Malkana caste, converted into Islam. But they were disappointed as a conversion, did not discard the age old Hindu impact on their minds. They adopted Islamic names and rituals, but at the same time, they followed their old Hindu rituals and ceremonies. They were looked down upon the Muslims. Okay, when you see in the Hindu Telugu speaking lands, Dudekla, a important community which is converted into Islam. Okay, so Churhas of Punjab converted to Sikhism. They were believed to have carried the body of Guru Tej Bahadur, the ninth Guru of Sikh. They were called Majhabis. The Portuguese missionaries St. Francis Xavier converted a lot of lower class people to the Christianity in Western India. Later on, the Church of England was involved in uh, proselytization too. Okay, the untouchables in Travancore became Christians on large scale, owing to the efforts of the British. However, caste status was retained even in the new phase due to caste consciousness nurtured by the high caste converts. This reveals, on the one hand, efforts to eliminate the caste-based discrimination, and on the other hand, efforts to retain caste consciousness. Okay, so these conversions created certain awareness among the Hindu converted to the other Christianity or other religions. Okay, so when you see the missionary activity, Christian missionaries contributed immensely to the rise of modern India. The first missionary was St. Francis Xavier, who arrived in Goa for Portuguese from Portugal in 1542. In 1705, Danish Lutheran missionaries of Protestant mission named Bartholomew Jiang Blag and Henry Placho established the mission in Tanjore. In 1792, William Carey of England founded the Baptist mission in Serampura, Bangalore. Okay, so finally, the Christian missionaries translated Bible into Bengal, Sanskrit, Hindi, and Marathi. In 1813, the East India Company agreed to allow missionaries to work in India. Since then, many missionaries came to India and involved themselves in missionary activities. And missionary activities provided a certain important education, particularly the Western education to the lower class sections. Okay, so Protestant missions set up in 1845. American missionaries set up in their centers at Madras, Madurai in 1833, and at Ahmednagar in 1831. American Presbyterians set up their counters at Ludhiana, Allahabad, Jalandhar, and Andhra in the mid 19th century. Okay, so they created, provided certain basic facilities to the lower class in the Hindu society. So they strongly attracted towards the Christian missionaries, and they were started education, and they are followed the Western education, particularly the technical education, which given provided certain income opportunities and by the providing jobs in the East India Company. Okay, next one is Islamic revivalism. Okay, Islamic revivalism also important cause for the Dalit movements. Okay, so with the advent of British, the superior position of Muslims was lost. Their fears and apprehension resulted in the formation of number of organizations. The earliest movement that came into being as a reaction to the British rule was the Wahhabi movement. Okay, it was founded by Shah Wahilullah. Okay, the British encouraged the Wahhabis in their fight against the Sikhs for their own ends. They formed the government at Peshawar and then Sitana. They also participated in 1857 revolt but suppressed by the British. Next one is the Faraizi movement, was founded by Haji Seraitullah of village Bahadurpur in the Faridabpur district in Bengal about 1804. It rejected un-Islamic innovation and customs declared Bengal, which was under the rule of the British, to be uh, Darul Darhul Arab or land of enemy. Okay, most of the Farajis were drawn from the untouchables. Okay, it was active in Bengal between 1830 and 60, and later it merged with the Wahhabi movement. The Anjuman Islami was established in 1855 at Calcutta. Its leaders were Abdul Bari, the Qazi of Calcutta, and Muhammad Abdul Rauf, the editor of Dorbin. Its main objective was general welfare of the Muslims, and the Muslims who particularly converted from the Hindu. Okay. Next, the efforts of Hindu reformers. Okay, many reformers who motivated the Dalit towards the Hindu ideology, Hindu rituals. Okay, basically. So those you are well aware, many socio-religious reform movements arised in the modern period, and many many religious movements also started at medieval. Okay, So Bhakti movement and Sufi movements, which created certain awareness among these Shudras at the time. And at the modern context or modern period, many movements like Padana Samaj, Arya Samaj, and Arya Samaj, also Pradhana Samaj, Arya Samaj, and Theosophical Society, and many other organizations which created awareness among these sutras against the unwanted rituals, which is particularly in the Hindu society. Okay, so these Hindu reformers criticized the caste-ridden Hindu society and made efforts to reform it. Okay, so important among them were Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who established Brahma Samaj in 1828 in Kolkata. Okay, so the principles of Brahma Samaj are Pradhana Samaj and other Theosophical Society or many other organizations are somewhat similar. Okay, so when you see the principles of Brahma Samaj, mainly the belief in the monotheism and organize congregational worship of the Brahma, a single worship, and eradicate social evils, including the sati, female uh, child, female infanticide, and a female child sacrifice and casteism, etc., and to discard idol worship. Okay, these are the common principles you see in each and every religious reform movement at modern times. Okay, so these are the important social reformers, Hindu social reformers. We call them as Hindu social reformers, who make aware these Dalit towards the towards their rights and towards the unwanted rituals in the Hinduism at that time. Okay, the Hinduism is the existing religion at that time, and majority people are following at that time. Okay, so several other organizations also aim to reform were formed during this period. The Tatvodin Sabha, founded by Devendranath Tagore, the principles were similar to the same Brahma Samaj and emerged with Brahma Samaj in 1859. Hindu Literary Society was established in 1830 in Madras by Veera Somaya and Srinivasa Pillai. And one of the its objective was uplift of the untouchables. And Manav Dharma Sabha was set up by Dadoba Pandurang in 1844 in Surat. British India Association was founded in 1851 at the Calcutta, and its first president was Ramakant Dev, and it strove for the upliftment of untouchables. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar set up 20 schools in Bengal in 1850s, and he was against the reputation of old Kshatras and untouchability. And Gopal Har Deshmukh wrote many articles in Prabhakar, a Marathi weekly, to bring about social awareness among the people. And besides the missionaries, Islamic revivalists and Hindu reformers, the Kuka movement, Farsi reform movement, and uprisings such as the police of Gujarat, Ramsosis in Mumbai, Mumbai, Bombay, formerly Bombay, and Pagalpanthis of Bengal also played an important role in the rise of Dalit movements in India. Okay, so apart from these, many other important causes which are important factors lead to Dalit movements in India. Okay, so those are like the position of the women in the particularly among the Dalits also created a certain also important factor for the Dalit movements in India. Okay, the Dalit women particularly, which is restricted by many things. They are forbidden with many things. They were have no status equal to the upper caste women. Okay, so mainly the two important systems, particularly from the Dalit women, nothing but one is the Devadasi system. Okay, next one is making the Baswin or Matangi is nothing but a Jogini system, particularly in Telugu speaking land. Okay, so it's nothing but what giving or donating a Dalit woman to a god. Okay, in the name of God, right? So this is a important system which given rise to development of prostitution in India. Okay, so one of the social evil still which is continuing in Indian society at the present also. Okay, so these are important factors which given rise to the rise to Dalit movement in India, and many Dalit intellectuals who made aware made who bring the awareness among the Dalit Dalit communities in India. Okay, among them the important and pioneer was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, so the contribution of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is a lot, and the Dalit attained a certain status with the upper caste or upper classes in Hindu society. Okay, in his contribution towards contribution in the Indian Constitution, which having given a equal given a boost to the Indian Dalits, having, and they shook their head to up along with the along with the other communities in the Hindu structure. Okay, so these are about certain factors which led to Dalit movements in India, and this is end of our first module in uh, in the first module in our Dalit movements, the paper, third paper, Dalit movements in India, 1900 to 1947. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see the other paper, nothing but the second paper, social and economic history of modern India. Okay, so by completion of the first module in the social and economic history of modern India, and then we'll move to the second module of cultural history of India. Okay, so we have the 1 or 2 minutes remaining. You may ask any doubts you have, any queries. You can unmute yourself once, and you may have certain conversation with me. Okay, unmute yourself, your videos and audio once. Chinanagaya, Srividya,
Yes.
and Triveni, unmute yourself once. You have any doubt, you can ask me. Chinanagaya,
Sir,
unmute yourself. No problem. No doubt also you can unmute so that I can see your face after a long time. Okay. We are not having any conversation, direct conversation from our March. Okay. So it takes nearly 6 and 7 months gap. Right? Srividya, you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, right. Chinanagaya, you also no doubt. Okay, Triveni, having any doubt?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. Can I end up my class today?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right. Okay, I will meet you tomorrow. Okay, I ending my class today.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right. Thank you.